Welcome to Real Daily Talks, where simple English becomes real speaking. Good morning, Ryan. How are you today?
I'm pretty good, Sophia, thanks. A little tired, actually. I stayed up late last night watching a new series.
Oh, really? What series?
It's a crime drama. Very exciting. I couldn't stop watching. I said just one more episode, but then I watched 3 more episodes.
I do that too. That's the problem with good shows. What about your weekend? Did you do anything interesting?
Well, on Saturday I worked in my garden. I planted some new flowers. And on Sunday I just relaxed at home. Oh, and I talked with my neighbor for about 20 minutes. He was also working in his garden.
That's nice. See, that's perfect for today's topic.
Exactly. What about you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was busy. I cleaned my apartment and I went grocery shopping. And actually, I ran into my neighbor in the hallway. We had a short conversation about the weather and about a package that was delivered to the wrong apartment.
Oh, that happens sometimes.
Yes, and it made me think, talking with neighbors is a daily situation, but many English learners don't know what to say. They feel nervous or uncomfortable.
That's true. Speaking of neighbors, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. How to start conversations, what topics to discuss, and how to be a good neighbor using English.
Perfect. Let's dive into this topic.
So, Sophia, let's start with the basics. When you see your neighbor for the first time, what do you say?
Well, the most common way to start is with a simple greeting. You can say hello, hi, or good morning. It depends on the time of day.
Right. If it's morning, I usually say good morning. If it's afternoon, good afternoon. And if it's evening, good evening.
Exactly. And after you greet them, you can ask, how are you? Or how's it going?
Oh, I like how's it going. It sounds more casual and friendly.
Yes, it does. And your neighbor will probably say, I'm good, thanks. How about you? Or I'm fine. And you?
Then you answer. You can say, I'm great, thanks. Or I'm doing well. Sometimes I say not bad if I'm feeling just okay.
That's good. Not bad is very common. It means you're okay. Not great, but not terrible.
Now, what if you're meeting a neighbor for the very first time, like they just moved in?
Oh, that's an important situation. When someone new moves into your building or street, you should introduce yourself. You can say, Hi, I'm Sophia. I live in apartment 5B. Or, Hello, I'm Ryan. I live next door.
And then you can welcome them. I usually say, welcome to the building, or welcome to the neighborhood.
That's very friendly. The new neighbor will appreciate that. They might say, thank you, nice to meet you, I'm James, or whatever their name is.
Then you say, nice to meet you too, and maybe you can offer help, like, if you need anything, just let me know.
Yes, that's perfect. It shows you're a kind and helpful person. When I moved to my current apartment 2 years ago, my neighbor knocked on my door and said exactly that. She said, if you need anything, I'm in apartment 5A. I felt so welcome.
That's really nice. I'd try to do the same thing. Actually, last year, a new family moved in next to me. I went over and introduced myself. I even gave them my phone number.
That's great, Ryan. Okay, so after the first introduction, what comes next? I mean, you can't just introduce yourself and then never talk again.
Right, so the next time you see them, you make small talk. Small talk means light, casual conversation about simple topics.
Yes, and the easiest topic for small talk is the weather. You can say, beautiful day today, isn't it? Or it's so cold today.
I use weather topics all the time. Yesterday I saw my neighbor and I said, wow, it's really hot today. And he agreed. We talked about the heat for 2 minutes.
See, that's perfect. Weather is a safe topic. Everyone can talk about it. Other good topics are weekend plans or recent activities.
How do you ask about that?
You can say, do you have any plans for the weekend? Or did you have a good weekend?
Oh, I like those. And what do you answer?
Well, if someone asks about my weekend plans, I might say, not much, just staying home and relaxing, or I'm going to visit my family. It doesn't have to be complicated.
What if you don't want to share too much personal information?
That's okay. You can keep it general. Just say, just the usual, or nothing special. Your neighbor will understand.
Good. Now, what about when you see your neighbor in specific places, like in the elevator or in the parking lot?
Ugh, the elevator. That's an interesting situation. Sometimes you get in the elevator and your neighbor is already there. It can feel awkward if you don't say anything.
I know that feeling. The elevator is small and you're standing very close to someone. Silence feels weird.
Exactly. So you should say something. A simple, hi, how are you? Works well. or you can comment on something like going out or heading to work.
I usually say hi and then maybe talk about the weather or make a small joke. Last week I was in the elevator with my neighbor and I said, "Another busy Monday," and he laughed and said, "Yes, always."
That's good. Small comments like that break the silence. What about in the hallway?
In the hallway, it's easier because you're not trapped in a small space. You can just smile, wave, and say hello as you pass by.
Right. You don't have to stop and have a long conversation. Just a friendly greeting is enough.
But sometimes your neighbor wants to talk more. What if they stop you and start a conversation?
Then you should be polite and listen. Maybe they want to tell you something important or they just want to chat for a minute.
What kind of topics do neighbors usually talk about?
Well, common topics are local news, building maintenance, or community issues. For example, did you hear about the water being shut off tomorrow? Or are you going to the building meeting next week?
Oh, yes, building issues. I talk about those with my neighbors a lot. Last month, our building had a problem with the heating. Everyone was talking about it.
See, that's a good topic because it affects everyone. You can say, "Is your heating working?" Or, "My apartment is so cold. Is yours cold too?"
And then you have something in common to discuss. It creates connection.
Exactly. Another common topic is packages and deliveries. Have you ever had a package delivered to your neighbor by mistake?
Oh, yes, many times. Sometimes the delivery person leaves my package at the wrong door.
So what do you say when that happens?
If I receive my neighbor's package by mistake, I knock on their door and say, "Hi, this was delivered to me by mistake. I think it's yours."
And they'll say, "Oh, thank you so much. I was wondering where that was."
Then I say, "No problem. Have a good day."
Perfect. That's a short and helpful interaction. What if your neighbor is holding a package for you?
Then they knock on my door and say, "Hey, Ryan, your package was delivered to me. Here you go."
And you thank them. You say, "Thank you so much. I appreciate it."
Yes, it's important to show appreciation when neighbors help you.
Now let's talk about asking neighbors for help. Sometimes you need to borrow something or ask a favor.
Right, like borrowing sugar or eggs if you run out while cooking.
Exactly. How do you ask politely?
I usually knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm sorry to bother you, but do you have any sugar I could borrow? I'm baking and I ran out."
That's very polite. The phrase, "I'm sorry to bother you," is important because it shows respect for their time.
And if they have it, they'll say, "Sure, no problem. How much do you need?"
Then you say, "Just half a cup would be great. Thank you so much."
What if they don't have it?
They'll say, "Sorry, I don't have any," or "I'm all out too." And you say, "That's okay. Thanks anyway."
I borrowed eggs from my neighbor once. I was making breakfast and I had no eggs. She was very kind and gave me 4 eggs.
Did you return them?
Well, you can't really return eggs, but the next time I went to the store, I bought a dozen eggs and gave half to her as a thank you.
Oh, that's very thoughtful, Ryan. That's the right thing to do. When someone helps you, you should return the favor later.
Yes, it builds good relationships. What about asking for other kinds of help?
You mean like help with tasks or technical things?
Yes, like if your internet stops working or you need help moving furniture.
Okay, so for internet problems, you might ask, "Hi, is your internet working? Mine is down and I'm wondering if it's a building-wide issue."
Oh, that's smart. You're not really asking them to fix it, you're just gathering information.
Right. But if you need actual help, like moving something heavy, you should ask politely and offer something in return.
How would you ask that?
You could say, "Hi, I'm moving a couch this weekend. Would you be able to help me for about 30 minutes? I'd be happy to buy you lunch afterward."
That's good. You're specific about how much time it will take and you're offering something in return. What do you say if you can't help your neighbor?
You should be honest but kind. Say, "I'm sorry, I can't this weekend. I have other plans, but maybe I can help you next week." Or just, "I'm sorry, I'm not available."
Your neighbor will understand. People are usually reasonable.
Now, let's talk about noise issues. This is a sensitive topic.
Oh yes, noise complaints are difficult because you don't want to make your neighbor angry.
Exactly. So you need to be very polite. If your neighbor is too loud, you should talk to them directly first before complaining to the landlord.
How do you start that conversation?
You knock on their door at a reasonable time, not when you're still angry. Then you say, Hi, I'm sorry to bring this up, but I've been hearing a lot of noise from your apartment late at night. Would it be possible to keep it down after 10 p.m.?
That's very diplomatic. You're not accusing them, you're just making a request.
Yes, and most people will apologize and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize it was so loud. I'll be more careful."
What if they get defensive or rude?
Then you stay calm and say, "I understand. I just wanted to let you know. Thank you for listening." Then, if it continues, you can talk to building management.
I had a noise problem once. My upstairs neighbor had very loud footsteps. I could hear everything.
What did you do?
I wrote a polite note and put it under their door. I said, "Hi, I live below you. Your floor is very thin and I can hear a lot of noise, especially late at night. Would you mind walking more softly or putting down rugs? Thank you so much."
And did it work?
Yes, they put down rugs and it got much better. They even apologized the next time I saw them.
That's great. See, most people are reasonable when you approach them politely.
Now, what about pets? If your neighbor has a dog or cat?
Oh, pets are a good conversation topic. If you see your neighbor with their dog, you can say, "What a cute dog. What's their name?"
I love dogs. I always stop to talk to neighbors who have dogs.
You can ask, "How old is he?" or "What breed is she?" People love talking about their pets.
My neighbor has a golden retriever named Max. I see them every morning when they go for a walk.
Do you talk to your neighbor or the dog?
Both. I say hi, Max, to the dog and good morning to my neighbor. Then we chat for a minute about the weather or our plans for the day.
That's nice. But what if your neighbor's pet is causing problems, like a dog that barks all day?
Then you need to have a difficult conversation, similar to the noise issue.
Yes. You say, "Hi, I wanted to talk to you about your dog. He barks a lot during the day when you're at work. I work from home and it's very loud. Is there anything you can do about this?"
And hopefully they'll say, "I'm sorry, I didn't know. Let me try some solutions."
Right. Most pet owners don't want to cause problems. They'll try to fix it.
Okay, last topic. What about saying goodbye to neighbors, like when you're ending a conversation?
Good question. You don't want the conversation to go on too long sometimes.
Exactly. I've had conversations in the hallway that lasted 20 minutes, and I was thinking, I really need to go inside.
Yes, so you need to politely end the conversation. You can say, "Well, I should be going," or "I'll let you go."
Or, "It was nice talking to you, but I have to get back to cooking," or whatever you're doing.
Yes, give a reason. Then say, "Have a great day," or "See you later."
And your neighbor will say, "You too, bye."
Perfect. That's a natural ending. You know, Ryan, while we were talking, we used many useful words and phrases. Let's go through some important vocabulary that will help our viewers talk with their neighbors.
Good idea. I think our viewers heard many new words.
First word, neighbor. This is the main word for today. A neighbor is a person who lives near you, maybe in the apartment next to yours or in the house beside yours, or even just on the same street.
Yes, my neighbor lives in the apartment next door. We share a wall.
Exactly. For example, I have friendly neighbors. Or, my neighbor helped me move furniture.
Can we also say neighborhood?
Yes, good question. Neighborhood is the area where you live. It includes all the houses and streets around you. For example, I live in a quiet neighborhood. Or, this neighborhood has many families.
What's the opposite of a good neighbor?
Well, we might say noisy neighbor or unfriendly neighbor, but we usually try to be polite and not complain too much. Next word, introduce. To introduce means to tell someone your name and give information about yourself when you meet for the first time.
Like, "Hi, let me introduce myself. I'm Ryan."
Perfect. Or, "I'd like to introduce you to my wife." You can introduce yourself or introduce other people.
I always introduce myself to new neighbors. It's the polite thing to do.
Me too. Another example, when I moved in, I introduced myself to everyone on my floor. Third word, greet. To greet means to say hello or welcome someone. It's how you start a conversation.
So when I see my neighbor and say, "Good morning," I'm greeting them.
Exactly. I greeted my neighbor in the elevator, or she greeted me with a big smile.
What's the noun form?
The noun is greeting. Hello is a greeting. Good afternoon is a greeting.
I understand. Greeting is the word you say, and greet is the action.
Perfect. Fourth word, borrow. To borrow means to take something from someone and use it temporarily. You will return it later.
Like, can I borrow your pen?
Yes. Or, I borrowed sugar from my neighbor. The important thing is that you plan to give it back or replace it.
What's the opposite?
The opposite is lend. If I lend you something, I give it to you temporarily. So you borrow from me and I lend to you.
Oh, that's confusing.
I know, but remember, I borrow from someone and I lend to someone.
Okay, my neighbor lent me eggs, and I borrowed eggs from my neighbor. Same situation, different perspective.
Exactly. Fifth word, polite. Polite means having good manners, showing respect, being courteous.
Like saying please and thank you.
Yes, my neighbor is very polite. He always holds the door for me. Or, it's polite to greet your neighbors.
What's the opposite?
The opposite is rude or impolite. It's rude to make loud noise late at night.
I try to always be polite with my neighbors because we live so close together.
That's smart, Ryan. Sixth word, complaint. A complaint is when you tell someone that something is wrong or that you're unhappy about something.
Like, I have a complaint about the noise.
Yes. The verb is complain. I complained to my neighbor about his loud music.
But we should be careful, right? Too many complaints can create problems.
Absolutely. That's why we should only complain when it's really necessary, and we should always be polite when we complain.
What's a good example sentence?
Before you complain to the landlord, try talking directly to your neighbor.
Good advice.
Seventh word, package. A package is a box or parcel that is delivered to your home, usually something you ordered online.
I receive packages all the time. Amazon, eBay, other stores.
Me too. I'm waiting for a package, or a package was delivered to my neighbor by mistake.
Sometimes we also say parcel, right?
Yes, parcel means the same thing. It's a bit more formal. In American English, we usually say package. In British English, parcel is more common.
I always check my package carefully to make sure it's mine and not my neighbor's.
Eighth word, appreciate. To appreciate means to be thankful for something, to recognize its value.
Like, I appreciate your help.
Exactly. It's stronger than just thank you. It shows deeper gratitude. I really appreciate you taking care of my cat while I was away.
My neighbor watered my plants last summer when I was on vacation. I really appreciated that.
That's a perfect example. Another sentence. I appreciate having such kind neighbors.
Can we also use appreciation?
Yes, that's the noun. I want to show my appreciation by baking cookies for my neighbors. Ninth phrase, small talk. This is two words, but we use them together. Small talk means casual, light conversation about unimportant topics.
Like talking about the weather or weekend plans.
Exactly. I made small talk with my neighbor in the elevator. Or, small talk is a good way to be friendly without getting too personal.
I'm not always good at small talk. Sometimes I don't know what to say.
That's okay. The weather is always a safe topic for small talk. You can always say, nice weather today, or so cold this week.
That's helpful.
10th phrase, run into. This means to meet someone by chance, unexpectedly, not planned.
Oh, like I ran into my neighbor at the grocery store.
Perfect. It's informal, but very common. Another example, I ran into my old neighbor yesterday. We hadn't seen each other in years.
So it's different from meeting someone?
Yes, meeting can be planned or unplanned. Running into is always unplanned, always a surprise.
I run into my neighbors all the time because we live in the same building.
11th phrase, keep it down. This means to reduce notice, to be quieter.
Like, could you keep it down? I'm trying to sleep.
Yes, exactly. It's a polite way to ask someone to be quieter. Please keep it down after 10 p.m. Or, the neighbors asked us to keep it down.
Is there a similar phrase?
Yes, you can also say keep the noise down. Same meaning.
When I have parties, I always try to keep it down so my neighbors don't complain.
That's very considerate, Ryan. Okay, let's do a quick summary of the vocabulary. We learned neighbor, introduce, greet, borrow, polite, complaint, package, appreciate, small talk, run into, and keep it down.
These are all very useful for talking with the people who live near you.
Absolutely. Practice using these words and you'll sound natural and confident. Okay, Ryan, that was a lot of talking about neighbors.
Yes, we covered so much, maybe too much.
Well, it's an important topic, but let's make it simple. Let's think about what we learned today.
Good idea. Break it down for our viewers.
First, we learned how to greet your neighbors and make first introductions. When you meet a neighbor for the first time, you introduce yourself, say your name, tell them where you live, and welcome them.
You use phrases like, "Hi, I'm Sophia. I live in apartment 5B. Welcome to the building. And if you need anything, let me know."
Then we talked about making small talk. Small talk is important for building friendly relationships without being too personal.
Exactly. We use simple topics like the weather, weekend plans, and daily activities. We say things like, "Beautiful day, isn't it? Did you have a good weekend?" And "Do you have any plans this week?" These are safe, easy conversations.
After that, we discussed specific situations like talking in the elevator, in the hallway, and in the parking lot.
Right. In the elevator, we make short comments to break the awkward silence. We say, "Going out?" or "Another busy day." In the hallway, we can just wave and say a quick hello, or we can stop for a longer chat if both people have time.
We also talked about common topics neighbors discuss.
Yes, topics like building maintenance, package deliveries, local news, and pets. These are things that affect everyone in the community, so they're natural conversation topics.
We say things like, "Did you hear about the water being shut off?" Or "Is your heating working?" Or "Your dog is so cute."
Then we covered asking for help and borrowing things.
That's an important part. Sometimes we need to borrow sugar, eggs, or other small items. We ask politely by saying, "I'm sorry to bother you, but do you have any sugar I could borrow?" And we always return the favor later to show appreciation.
We also talked about difficult topics like noise complaints.
Yes, this requires extra politeness. When your neighbor is too loud, you approach them calmly and say, "I've been hearing a lot of noise late at night. Would it be possible to keep it down after 10 p.m.? You stay respectful and give them a chance to fix the problem before complaining to management.
And finally, we learned how to end conversations politely.
Right. We use phrases like, "Well, I should get going. I'll let you go. It was nice talking to you." And "Have a great day." This helps us exit the conversation without being rude.
See, when you break it down like that, it's actually pretty simple.
It is. The key is to be friendly, polite, and respectful. Good neighbor relationships make life so much more pleasant.
And they give you great English practice.
Exactly.
Now we want to hear from you. This is our favorite part.
Yes, our question of the day is, what is your neighbor situation like? And what is one conversation topic you talk about with your neighbors?
That's a good question. For me, I live in an apartment building and I have neighbors on both sides and above and below me. I talk to my next-door neighbor most often. We usually talk about weekend plans and sports. He loves football, and so do I, so we discuss games.
That's nice. You have something in common. For me, I also live in an apartment. My closest neighbor is a friendly lady who has 2 cats. We often talk about pets and about deliveries because packages get mixed up sometimes. She's very kind.
See, we have different answers, and that's okay. Everyone's neighbor situation is different.
Exactly. Some people live in houses with neighbors far away. Some people live in big apartment buildings with many neighbors.
Some people have friendly neighbors. Some have quiet neighbors they never see.
So, viewers, we want to know about you. What is your living situation? Who are your neighbors? And what do you talk about with them?
Maybe you talk about weather, or children, or gardens, or local restaurants. Maybe you don't talk to your neighbors much. Maybe you want to, but you feel shy.
Whatever your situation is, please tell us in the comments. Write something like, "I live in a house and my neighbor loves gardening. We talk about plants." Or, "I live in an apartment, but I never see my neighbors." Or, "I want to talk to my neighbors more, but I'm nervous."
This helps us in 2 ways. First, it helps us understand you better, so we can make videos about topics you need. Second, it helps you practice writing English, which is just as important as speaking.
So please, take 30 seconds and write a comment right now. We read every single one.
We really do, and we love hearing from you.
Okay, everyone, we've reached the end of today's lesson.
Thank you so much for watching and learning with us.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. That little like button really helps us continue making these videos for you.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button right now and click the little bell icon next to it.
That way, you'll get a notification every time we post a new video. You won't forget to join us, and you can keep improving your English every week.
We can see that you're working hard to improve, and we're proud of you.
Keep practicing. Remember, learning a language takes time. Don't worry about making mistakes. Every conversation is practice, even small talks with neighbors.
Yes, every time you say good morning or how are you, you're using English. That's progress.
So be confident, be friendly, and keep learning.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.